For the past 13 summers, the nation's best comics and rising stars have gathered on Nantucket. The Nantucket Comedy Festival is a highlight of the island's summer scene as it benefits the Standup and Learn Foundation for local youngsters and provides a series of hilarious evenings. And now, in these challenging times, in the spirit of the festival, we gather a group of comics to provide some laughs, some diversion, and a dose this evening of the best medicine. And good evening, Thursday evening. Where else would you rather be than in the shadow of all things Nantucket, in the spirit of the Nantucket Comedy Festival? And welcome to The Best Medicine. I'm Bob Lee, and let's welcome tonight's cast of interesting characters, a stand-up comic, a writer, and a filmmaker originally from Boston. Now she is based out of Brooklyn. Say good evening to Kendra Cunningham. Good evening, Kendra.
Hey,
Hi.
Kendra.
Thanks for having me.
I love the digs. I'm sorry, Kevin. What was?
Now are you going?
Well, Kevin was just coming in like Oswald there, so he can put down his chicken sandwich. We'll just move along here. Exactly. You can hear our next guest is Anthony on the animated series F is for Family on Netflix. You can see him as the moronic 1950s detective on the web series The Two Dicks. Say hi to Al Ducharme. Good evening, Al.
Good evening. It's so wonderful to be anywhere.
Exactly. With this cast of characters tonight.
Plays young, though.
Riding out the pandemic with his kids. So, yes, he qualifies as a hero. Jim Colleton. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening. How we all doing? Yeah, I don't have my cape on, but I feel like a hero after the last 3 months.
There you go. And you know him as the moving force behind the Nantucket Comedy Festival. And to me, he's just my sitcom neighbor, Kevin Flynn. Good evening, Kevin.
Hey, Bob. Another week. Kendra's kind of fading in and out of that green screen you got behind you.
Should I get rid of it?
Get rid of it, because I liked your sister's painting in the background.
All right. I'll get rid of it.
Your sister's painting. That sounds like a New Jersey insult.
Oh, wow. Hey,
I like your sister's painting.
we got. I'm an old sports guy, so we got to start with Jim Colleton's facial hair, which is straight out of the 1978 Yankees or the 1977 Kansas City Royals. You look like somebody who's ready to come in and throw in the ninth inning a 98-mile-an-hour heater past Reggie.
I could come in and start throwing it. You are this group's the only group that actually this is probably the only group that's seen it, because I've been wearing a mask for the last 3 weeks. So besides my family, who thinks it's disgusting, and that's why we keep it going. But yeah, it's a great mustache. Great mustache.
It really is.
Keep that distance, man. 6 feet. 3 feet of mustache. There you go.
Al, what adjustments have you made?
Since I sat down right now?
Well, since we started into this lockdown.
You stopped bathing, I think, Bob. That's obvious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got this going. I'm actually growing my facial hair and my hair for a movie. So I'm going to watch 1 Million BC tonight. So I wanted to kind of blend in with that. There we go. I was right out of the gate. I've made the adjustments. I have deliveries. I get people coming to my door wearing a mask, and they have gloves, and they put things on my doorstep, and then I go out and disinfect them. And then 6 weeks later, I take the ice cream in the house and I eat it.
With a straw.
Corona jokes. I love it.
I had that written down somewhere.
Right out of the gate.
Gavin had about 10 Corona jokes that he just rifled off. We were laughing.
Boom.
Yeah. What's going to happen in the comedy clubs when we all get back in there, and start doing jokes? Everybody be doing Corona jokes.
Everybody's going to have the same upfront 5 minutes, right? We're all going to have what we were doing during this time and the Corona. And then we're going to get into the original stuff, which is basically a rehash of our old stuff. Material in a different order and change a few things. But have we all been writing and creating?
Have we?
I guess not.
I've been growing this mustache, so that's been taking up a lot of time.
Shorts.
You did what?
I made some horror short films.
Oh, cool.
I think I'm going to switch genres.
How did you do that without any cast or crew or?
Well, I made myself the star, of course.
Definitely.
And
Oh, that's right.
yeah. I mean, horror films, you don't really need that many people. They're short, 2 minutes.
You
But I
can't.
feel like
All
I've
expression,
had
right?
more. What's that?
It's all
Are they
expression,
up on-
right? It's like, who's there? Is there someone out there?
That looks like Don Gavin trying to figure out Zoom.
Oh.
That's what that was.
Come on, he's 104. Come on.
Your picture
COVID,
quality,
those are COVID years.
Al, your picture quality is terrible.
I apologize.
Well, not if you're a Syrian hostage.
I know, exactly. It looks like he's going to be beaten by Syrians any moment. Don't you have a camera above your computer, Al?
I'm actually on my phone. Why is it? Does it need to be cleaned?
No. Oh, he's good. Oh my goodness.
Don't make an adjustment along the way. This could be tragic.
I swear I was rubbing my screen. I swear. But hey, just check that out.
That was a dick joke, folks. That was a dick joke. A visual.
That was the two dicks emblem right there.
Oh, the two dicks.
That's right. That thing is taking off, man. We have like 17 viewers a week. It's awesome.
Also, it's doubled. It's awesome.
It's tripled.
All right.
We've been working on that. We've been working on that long distance. But we
have a delay tonight, Bob, that we haven't had in the past, have we?
Oh, we have a delay. Should I switch over to my computer?
Well, that was just Al.
No. We'll figure it out. I was going to ask a question if anybody saw the piece in the New York Times this past week about the guy and I'm sure some of you, if not all of you, at one time or another have worked on cruise ships. I know, Kevin, you have. This guy is 26-year-old Yank. He's a singer, entertainer on a cruise ship, and he's stuck in South America off the coast of Brazil on this ship that is going between Chile and Brazil, and they won't let him off, and he's there for like going on 3 months, and all the good food's gone.
Oh,
this could be you, where you on a cruise ship.
You are talking to Al Ducharme and Jim Colleton are cruise ship warriors, man. They are cruise ship warriors. So I would like to, first of all, do you know the guy? Did you see the article?
I haven't seen the article, no. And that sounds awful. But like I said, I've been stuck in my house with my wife and 3 children. So, I mean, it's not all
it's a trade-off.
Quiet room by yourself. And you usually get 3 or 4 channels to watch. So that I can only imagine when they start running out of food, how angry cruise ship passengers get.
Well, they're running out of food or good food. That's the thing.
Good. They're running out of good food, and the only people left are crew members, and he's considered a crew member. Everybody else is off the ship, and there's a lot of great pictures in the piece. He's taken it himself, and he's in fairly good humor, taking it in stride, but he just can't get off the bloody boat because they, like if you down here in Florida, if you go up to Port Canaveral, I'm told there are like 10 boats out at sea. They just won't let come in.
Yeah,
which are people on them, right?
Yes, there are certainly crew.
Oh, okay, yeah, the crew, yeah. That guy's got a crappy agent. I'll tell you that right now.
Terrible agent, but I wonder, Jim, if he's still getting paid. What are the odds? If
he's only with crew, he ain't entertaining anyone. So no, he's probably not getting paid.
He's fearing for his life, I would imagine. Yeah, they usually get you off right away, man. So someone got paid. I think Michelle Ballin got paid a couple of weeks. Because she was stuck for like maybe 3 weeks, and they were like, you can't hold a person hostage like that.
Okay,
yeah,
so
I think she was compensated. Yeah.
Kendra, have you ever done cruise ships, Kendra?
I did my first cruise ship in January. I don't think I would do it again. It wasn't for me.
What line did you work?
I was on Holland.
Oh, Heaven's Waiting Room.
It was very clean, and it was clean comedy, And they didn't really like me. I think I said, "Oh my God," on stage by accident. And I just didn't like being on a ship. I had anxiety like 24 hours a day.
Oh, well, that's not good. Yeah.
No. So I planned on going and not drinking and working out and losing weight, and I ended up drinking every day. So,
well, I think we all go into it with that plan.
Yeah.
The average cruise ship passenger gains a total of 8 pounds a week on average. Isn't that amazing? 7-day cruise, 8 pounds.
Wow.
What's the average number of deaths on a cruise? You've got how many thousand people on a ship, and look at the, the demographic of who you're shipping around there with. You're going to lose people
natural
anyway.
causes. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
Natural causes.
These are people that are elderly, they're spry, they're living life. They're like, hey, if I'm going to go, I want to be somewhere nice, beautiful, tropical perhaps, or a place I've never been before, and I don't have to do the driving. So for those people, kudos to them for getting out there and doing their thing, living life.
The worst story.
Did I get too serious?
About the guy,
my livelihood.
The guy who had his grandkid. Did you see that?
What's that?
The guy who dropped his grandkid out the window on the cruise?
Yeah, Puerto Rico.
Oh, Lord.
Oh.
And then he tried to sue the cruise ship. He tried to sue Royal Caribbean.
On what grounds?
I want to apologize for taking this show to a dark turn.
That kid was an a-hole, though. There's two sides to every story.
Yeah.
Was it
if you ever met
Terrible Twos?
No.
The child didn't live?
See, this is dark comedy. It's dark comedy.
Al, you know what?
Let's see if we can turn this around.
That would have been funny if he lived. Al.
Al brought it up.
I hope those people who took you hostage are going to come in and beat you right now.
I lost like 4 viewers right there.
That's it. We're down to 13.
Yeah, but both of you guys made the majority of your money on cruise ships, right? And it's just gone away. What have the cruise ships said to you? Have they contacted you?
I made $700,000 last year on 2 cruises.
That's
wow.
Al has a better agent than me. Some of the lines are canceled.
Most of it.
Some of the lines are canceled through August, and I know Royal Caribbean, they're still waiting. They're canceled through, I think, maybe June. So they may pick it up in June. And people will come back because people love cruising. So,
right.
It will start
Al
up again.
Certainly did when he lived in Manhattan going through the park at night. So I think that'll make a comeback as well when everything clears.
When all the dust
I do it out here on the West Coast, pal.
Better hours.
The observatory. Rebel with a cause. All right, let's move on.
So no one's
Bob,
delayed
save us now. How did you rope Bob into this? How did all these Emmys, beautiful retirement package?
Raise your hand if you have 4 Emmys.
How did you get pulled into this one? Footy promised you something.
He has all of these photographs, incriminating photo. I want to apologize for taking us down the very dark cruise hallway of this show.
But they're still worried about their employment, so they got to be nice.
Iceberg, right ahead.
What have we learned about social distancing etiquette here in the last couple of weeks and months? We went out today. We went out today to the beach, and we get out the 6 foot radar indicator to keep our distance and whatnot. What have you guys learned?
Joggers are the worst. And I understand people need to jog for their head, for their physical being and all that, but the joggers will come right up on you, no mask, sweating, breathing heavy. They get right up on you, and they frighten me sometimes. I'll turn and they'll be like 3 feet away, and I'll just like scurry like a child screaming because it's freaking me out. I don't understand why people just can't run around you 6 feet. What is it? They have their headphones on. They're just zoned out. They're going to take us out, man. It's going to be the joggers. They're going to be a bunch of skinny people that survive.
There's the joke. All right, I was waiting for the joke. Something on there, man. It was a long diatribe. We are turning into old men.
I'm a slow roller.
The joggers
trying to get alerted.
I tell you, this disease is not killing the stupid people because I'm not even making this up. I saw a guy at the supermarket today. He had a mask, not on his mouth. He had it on his arm. I don't know if he was trying to be. I couldn't get my phone out quick enough to get a picture of him. He's walking up and down the supermarket with the mask on his arm.
That's how you get it.
You get a wound.
It hits your bicep. It goes in that way.
Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah, well,
that's where you inject the disinfectant into your arm.
And the thing is, he won't catch any germ. The stupid germ is not going to affect him.
But he'll die some other way, probably some other.
I wear this now. I just go out with this right there.
Yeah.
Very nice. I'll buy that off you, Al. Thank goodness.
Well, I have to make love to my wife first, so I got to put it on. It'll be about a minute or so. So I had to beat you to it. I did the Masada principle. I took myself out. Go ahead. Let's move on.
What is he? Where is he going? Not only is he in a hostage video, but he's talking like he is in one.
Turn the 360. Make sure no one's holding a gun to his head.
Everything, I'm fine. I'm safe. Everything's good.
We're basically discussing human behavior, and we've got Kendra here with her psychology degree. Help us make sense of people that would put a surgical mask over their arm at the Safeway.
Oh God, I have no idea. I'm sure who knows what the hell was going on with that guy. Maybe he thought he was going to get fined if he didn't have a mask on him. I don't know. I've seen a lot of people in Brooklyn who don't wear their masks either, but I don't yell at anybody.
No, I don't want to get shot or stabbed.
For not wearing, for wearing a mask or not wearing a mask or not letting people into a McDonald's. You know,
but everyone's going to start policing everyone now with this thing. Everyone's going to start yelling at people for not having masks, being 6 feet away.
Well.
But this is my thing. Either we all wear masks or we don't. And if you can wear a mask if you want, but if we're told to let's all wear a mask for a while, for a couple of weeks, just wear it, man. You know,
17 days, if everybody wore a mask, this thing would just die right down. And the Spanish flu, I don't know if you guys remember, Gavin's not here, but the Spanish flu, the police were walking around with guns saying, put your mask on. And people would put their mask on. 50 million people died before they figured out, put your mask on. They can't do that now, obviously, and I don't want that. I'm not going to.
You see how many guns are out there, Al? Maybe the other side has guns. They're like, yeah, go ahead, make me. Everybody has guns now. Brian Kilmeade on Fox, who I know he's a nice guy. I like him. He tweeted out, the Air Force Academy is having a graduation, and why can't the parents go and the students go? It's unfair. And I'm like, I texted him back. I'm like, Brian, you should go and bring your mom. You know what I mean? Because it's like, it's not about the students and the parents going. It's about the population that you could come back home to, your kids, your whatever. And people are like, kids aren't dying. Well, kids are dying. So let's all be in this together. I go off on this thing every week because it's like annoying. We should all be on the same page. Like 9/11, we were all together. So now we're not.
If you don't have a mask, what is it? You could use a piece of cloth, a T-shirt, an old sock.
I saw someone use a sanitary
net. An old sock.
An old sock.
Vacuum bag. Vacuum cleaner bag.
Can you use an old sock, really?
How about a new sock?
A washed old sock. How's that?
I just didn't know you could use one.
I'm still trying to figure out why Al didn't use his computer to do this and why
he has Boost Mobile as his provider.
Exactly. With Boost Mobile.
You want me to switch it?
You're the only guy who's bragging, and it's not a good look for Boost Mobile.
No. There's some jokes I'm not going to touch about Boost Mobile and a white guy, so we're going to leave that.
No, but Al is the more technologically advanced of us moronic comedians. I think. Disappointing. He has all the equipment.
I'm not showing my technology skills today.
Al's actually married to a comedian, which is always an interesting thing.
Well, the pandemic is not over. A lot of my friends, I have some neighbors, a lot of them are solo, and they're like, you're so lucky you get to do this with somebody.
No go?
No, it's great.
Guns out there in California.
A lot of guns. There's no guns.
Have you been to the beach in California now?
Bob, are you really in Nantucket?
No. I'm in the Keys. You want to talk guns? We'll talk guns.
You're in Key West?
Yeah.
Or Florida Keys? Oh, cool.
Yeah. It's you learn very carefully when you move down here from the Northeast to moderate your left-hand turn signal. You know, if you know what I mean. Like when you grew up in Jersey, learn how to drive there. Because down here, you may they skip right over the angry dialogue to the next level of interaction. Yeah.
And how is Florida? They haven't really even shut down that much with this whole thing. Right?
What they did in the Keys is put up a barricade at the top of A1A. And so we've had only 80,000 people. We've had only 80 cases in a month. No new cases in 5 days. Just north of here, Florida, you got Miami-Dade, and you got Broward, you got Palm Beach. Those are the three hottest counties. So they've kicked all the tourists out of here for the last month and a half. It's devastated the economy. absolutely devastated it. But
But you can't come into the Keys unless you show your license that says you live there.
Exactly. If you get off a plane and only 40 people a day are flying in here, I mean, the air traffic's down 90%. You have to, they take your temperature. You have to commit to a 14-day self-quarantine. So, but they do antibody testing here, and there are no positives, which means that when they do reopen the Keys, and they're going to have to at some point, it's going to be a very difficult situation. Nobody here has been exposed to it, so it's a false bubble. It's not very funny, but it's true.
Bob, you don't have to be funny. You're an Emmy Award winner. It's us. We're the one who are struggling to be funny. I will tell you this, though, guys. I drove my mom with my mother from, no joke, Al, from West Palm Beach to the other side, to the West Coast, across Alligator Alley there, and in a rent-a-car. And guys were driving by, giving me the finger, yelling at me, and I'm like, what is up with that, And then I rolled down my window. One thing, I said to this guy, I go, "Oh, what's up?" And he goes, "You're from fucking New York, man. You're from New York, man." I'm like, I looked at my license plate. It was a rental car, but it had a New York license plate on it, and that's why I was getting the finger all week.
Oh, because they thought you were coming down during this.
They hate New Yorkers. They just don't want anybody from up north. Any Yankees?
No, this wasn't recently, right? During the pandemic,
like 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, this was just regular people being assholes.
Regular antipathy and hatred.
Okay.
The normal garden variety.
All right. Yeah.
So the Keys are different, right? I mean, and Key West is very different. I think
it is, but north of here, 15, 20 miles north of here, it's a very different sense of place. So it's we've got all different types here, but it's going to be interesting when they're forced to reopen it, which they'll have to do in the next, because I think unemployment down here is at least 40%, at least.
Wow.
And all the restaurants and bars, are they shut down too?
Bars are shut down. Restaurants just 2 days ago began to open at 25% capacity.
And some of those are little places, so that's like 8 people probably.
So that would actually quantify. Exactly. So only Gav could be in the bar.
Wow.
You have to prove your drinking prowess.
Exactly.
He's in Florida, right?
He's in Florida. Gav is down Boynton Beach now.
Oh, cool.
And writing.
And he's writing jokes every day. He was talking about socially distancing, and he said, "Well, women have been doing that to me pretty much my whole life." Yeah, Gav, another joke.
Boom.
Yeah.
He was prepared.
But yeah, Key West is interesting though, because you can cut it off. So, and there was a great comedy club there. I don't know if you guys have worked it yet, but it's a Boston guy that's down there.
Tom Dustin's down there. Yeah,
it's called the Bottle Cap
down there. Yeah,
the Bottle Cap. It was a lot of fun. He is hysterical, disgusting, totally like X-rated.
But
he's perfect for Key West.
He's
great.
He's like
great
the Big
down
Lebowski. He's the Big Lebowski, isn't he? He's kind of like that. He was funny. He's the dude.
Yeah. I enjoyed Key West, though.
How much does that pay? Who books it?
Exactly. They're booking it now. Pre-corona or post?
Yeah.
How far is that from you, Bob?
That's about 3 minutes or 3 miles, actually. And, a little bit slower if you have to drive Flynn over there with Jimmy Dunn when they're working the evening together. As they were a couple of Februarys ago. Exactly.
Well, for me, Dunn doesn't imbibe like the Big Lebowski.
I'm there. I'm in Key West about 6 times a year, just for the day because of the ship.
Oh, on the ship, yeah. Well, maybe not, because they're going to put a referendum on the ballot in August. They're trying to keep cruise ships either out of here or at greatly reduced frequency.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they want those giant ATMs pulling in once a day?
Maybe because they think they're floating petri dishes.
Also, I don't think they spend a lot of money.
$600,000.
No.
You don't think so?
Is that how much, Al?
I don't know.
They say they don't spend so much. I know the people in
they go to the bars and I see all the bars and restaurants are jammed. Yeah.
And they buy cheap T-shirts and
cigars.
I had a theory.
Was Bloodline in Key West? Did you guys watch that?
Actually, it was shot and set in Isla Morada, which is about an hour north of here, or hour and change. Yeah, but did you enjoy that series? That was outstanding.
I thought it was awesome. I wish they'd keep it going. I loved it. I love that Ben Mendelsohn. He's so good.
Yeah, he's Australian,
amazing.
Right?
Outsider too, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
on
he was in
HBO.
That's good.
He produced that too.
Oh, did he? Yeah, he was
Did
good.
he?
I liked him.
Yeah, he and Jason
played a great
Bateman,
character.
executive producer. Yeah. he's
I
got the
went to
goods.
the University of Miami, so I used to go to Alvarado a lot on the weekends.
So did Jackie Flynn. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. No.
Jackie
He's
Flynn?
in LA, right?
He's in LA now. He probably. When were you in Boston? What years?
I didn't start doing comedy until I moved to New York.
Ah, so you still have the Boston accent a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah.
You go home and they say you don't have one, but you do.
Well, when I go home and I'm with my family, I feel like it gets worse.
Exactly.
My mother has one
same here.
From Dorchester.
Oh, you're a Dorchester girl.
Oh yeah,
Well, my mother is, so she has a, you know,
thick accent. Yeah.
Dorchester.
yeah.
Nothing like it.
Hi, darling. How are you? Huh? Do you want some? Are you hungry?
That's an Irish.
Is that a Boston? Is that my mother?
No,
No, well,
I think that's Bernadette's mother. His wife's mom. Bernadette Polly's mom.
Now what?
I don't want to hog the mic. We had Jimmy Schubert on a couple of weeks ago.
You're a mic hog.
He was hysterical, but he wouldn't shut up. It was
Yeah, it's a give and take. It's a lob, and you know, it's not easy. The Zoom thing. I've done a bunch of them. It's different every time, and apparently my picture quality blows.
Yeah.
Well, it's proof of life. At
Right,
least.
man.
So you guys, all
How
of
is
you,
Jimmy
everybody
Schubert?
here. Jimmy Schubert is good. He is good.
Yeah, he's in LA.
He's a funny guy. He was out the first time for the first festival this past summer. And he, you know, it's interesting. I was talking to other comics. It's like we have seen each other's acts so many times in different places and everything that what was fun was to watch Schubert because I had heard of him, but I had never seen his act. So I got to watch his best 20. And he brought the house.
He's a real Philly guy. Or he's a real Philly guy.
Yeah,
He's like,
exactly.
yeah. Very quick. Bump, 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 bump.
That kind of sounds like the
Me
Dorchester
and,
mom, Al.
Me and my sister
Unlimited.
brought him dancing.
I didn't practice my voices today. Sorry about that. I'll be better next time when I'm invited back.
When F is for Family, when does that come back, Al?
Oh, you know what? They just released the trailer today. My executive producer emailed us all and said, wait for everybody to announce it before you guys start announcing it. We don't have a specific date yet, but the trailer was released, and they just signed on Jonathan Banks, the actor Jonathan Banks,
Wow.
to play Bill Burr's father. And so he's pretty big right now. Better Call Saul and whatnot. All-star cast, Laura Dern, Sam Rockwell, Vince Vaughn, executive producer.
Wow.
And they threw me in the mix. And I show up, I do my voices, and they keep calling me back in. So I'm very excited about it. Season 4 starts at some point in the next month, I would say. And then fingers crossed.
You guys all go to the studio together, or do you just do it from a studio and then everyone else reads their lines from other studios?
I think Jim, I actually think that Al does his voiceovers over his phone line like this.
He just calls in on his boost mode.
Yeah.
On his feet, flips open his phone, and he just dials in. And
Let's do that again. Let's do that again. Let's do that again.
That was my impression of that woman from Dorchester. Just a joke.
But does the cast gather to do it all at once, or you guys do it nicely, one at a time? And I just stitch it together.
Sometimes they put us in the booth with somebody else, depending on what scene. But for the most part, we're solo. But we usually hang out in the lobby. Who's ever coming in depends on what the schedule is. I've been bumped quite a few times. Hey, so and so has to get out of here because they have to go do a movie. I'm like, okay, I'll go feed the meter. But we chat it up. When we're going in, and then it's usually a director, a bunch of people behind the glass. You guys have all done voiceover stuff. You know how it works. But very exciting.
Laura Dern and Sam Rockwell. I think tell you
that. Well,
it's a different world, though. You have a lot of voices, so this could be a new.
Some of them, like Justin Long is in it, and he'll do his remotely from sometimes London or wherever he's from. But I mean, with technology, you can do it anywhere. But
yeah, your technology is obviously proving that this evening. But what I'm like,
well, it looks fine, right? I'm looking at myself. It looks perfectly fine.
You're at the Everest Base Camp, Al.
You got the soft lens to take that. No, you don't look 70. You look good.
I feel good. And now, Al, let me ask you something. Because I mean, because when you go out on a cruise ship, you can't go to these voiceover auditions, and you're actually gotten a lot of praise for your voiceover work on F is for Family. So do you find yourself not wanting to go on a cruise so you can audition for other voiceovers?
They've been super cool with the schedule. I did have to cancel a couple of them, to be honest with you, because you go in for the table read. That's what you want to do. You want to go into the table read. And I thought, well, it's an animated show. Table read is going to be, a dozen people hanging around. They actually rent a ballroom in a hotel. And you go there, and there's just, 100 people. There's people from Netflix, from the animation companies, producers, writers, celebrities. It's a big thing. I'm like, this is a cartoon, but it's a series. It's a real show.
Do you go right into Comedy on the Moon?
I try to separate those things, Kevin. I try to separate my act from the voiceover work.
I'll do the bit, Al. I'd love to.
I just did it.
I missed it.
Honey, make love to me during the pandemic. Watch out, that's my oxygen holes. That's it. This is the end of the show. This show will never take off now. I'm so sorry, Bob.
You have nothing to apologize for.
I apologize. I can't this off.
Well, Jim, do you think you go back to the cruises as much as you did before pre-corona?
From what I'm hearing, is they're not going to want you on as much. They're only going to want you on for a week and then off a week.
I thought it was 2 weeks on, 2 weeks off. They want that 14 days in between.
Yeah, I think one of the lines said that they wanted 14 days on, 14 days off. I never like to go that long. I only like to go 7 to 8 days at a time. So I wouldn't be interested in anything like that.
When I first started, we used to do 3 and 4 days.
That'd be the best. That would be the best, 3 and 4 days. It's sort of like, what I didn't like was when I did do cruises, I would fly to Florida, somewhere in Florida, right? Get on a ship, we'd leave. 7 days later, we'd come back to the exact same port, and it'd be Sunday to Sunday. Then they started to say, we want to get the comedian to work 2 cruises. So we're going to fly you in the middle of a cruise, and then we're going to fly you off in the middle of a cruise. So you do 2 cruises, but you're only getting paid for 1. You have to fly in on Wednesday into Belize, and then you're leaving from the Grand Caymans. It was for me, it took it started to be 8 or 9 days, more days of travel, and I didn't feel like they treated you as well as they used to.
Kevin, that's not Belize, that's British Honduras.
British Honduras? Wow, there's Bob going.
They have their independence still. They got their independence in 1987. But anyway,
Kevin threw that out one night at one of his shows. I was shocked that anyone knew it.
Wow.
Oh, that's right. You did that at the Kate.
That's why I said that.
That's right. I forget. Well, you remember stuff. I don't. That's part of being a comedian.
Evidently.
But yeah, every show we walk away from, we don't want to remember it. We're like, that was a nightmare.
What I do remember.
Let's get drinking now.
Earlier in this program, it's a loose application of the word program. Kendra said she had been producing some new videos. What are they about? Where can we see them?
Well, they're on my YouTube and my Instagram. 2 of them are horror films. This guy Corman, I'm gonna forget his first name, but he's like a horror director.
Roger Corman?
Yeah. Thank you. He did this thing called the Corman Challenge, where you had to make videos, without lighting and natural light, blah blah blah, people in your house.
Oh, kind of like Al's video tonight.
Bob Lee on the board.
Bang bang bang.
So anyways, we did 2, and they're on YouTube. It's like YouTube/Kendra Cunningham, and they're on my Instagram.
I have to check this out.
They're horror videos.
Yeah, they're only 2 minutes. They're very short.
Unlike this horror video, which is about 36 minutes long at this point.
Quick horror.
36.
30 minutes.
Wrap it up.
Long, yeah.
Yeah. We don't have that much material between the three of us.
We're stretching.
I'm coming out. Hey guys, I don't know about you. I have not started writing yet, but I'm ready because I'm not doing my old act when I go back on stage. There's just no way. There's been too long of a break. I'm not doing the old stuff. I'd like to try.
I'm memorizing your act. As a matter of fact, I'm memorizing your act. I look at all your clips, and I'm up to 7 minutes.
Comedy on the moon.
I'm going to give it a go. Hey, it pays the electric bill.
Do you do comedy on the moon on the cruise ships?
Occasionally I do. It's a big theater, and you got to use that space. And when you do the visual, physical stuff, it plays very well, very well.
The funny what Al's talking about doing, I think, Kendra, you didn't do enough of them, and Bob, you haven't been on one. God bless you. You're a smart man. I did my first one out of New York to Bermuda, and I was a younger comic working in the clubs. I was doing all kinds of political stuff. I was talking about religion. And killing in the club, like having a blast, and then like the guy hires me to come on the ship in the Royal Caribbean. I get on there. They have me work the opening night of the cruise on the Royal Caribbean boat. And it was, I don't know, maybe 50 people in the room. And I had to do 2 shows,
welcome aboard.
45 minutes. And I go into my political stuff and they're like, obviously we're not aligned with me politically, and it was not happening. I'm like, I'll switch to religious stuff. That will help. I got written up. I used to have a bit about getting into heaven, and we don't know what heaven is, and we're all in the same line. Everybody from every denomination, every walk of life, we're on the same line. Go, can you see? Who is it? Who's God? Can you see? And I'm like, who is it? Oh, it's Buddha. And like somebody goes, what? I go, oh, it's Buddha, and she's a woman, and she's pissed. So I thought, like, that's pretty it's not offensive in a nightclub for sure.
Unless you're a Buddhist.
I got written up because the person said Buddha is not a woman. How dare you offend my faith? I'm like, really? And the other time I got written up was when I said,
you got to do a joke about taking a dump and vomiting, and then you'll get a lot of bookings.
Then you get a lot of laughs and bookings. I did one joke about my daughter. I said, I'm raising my daughter Catholic because I think, kids need something to reject when they get older. That's all. Like, just in religion, kind of a religious joke. And I got written up. I'm Catholic. I said, that doesn't matter. It was horrible.
Who comes to speak to you harshly about that? Is there Julie McCoy, our cruise director, or who administers? Is there a nun that comes with a ruler, or what?
It depends. That one I got written up. I had to talk to the cruise director. And the other nightmare I had was they told me the Royal Caribbean one going out of New York was terrible. The ratings were bad for everybody. Nobody, so that one's a freebie. The second one, they send me to Puerto Rico, and I get on the ship, and everyone is Puerto Rican. It's like a 3-day cruise out of Puerto Rico. So no one speaks English. So instead of saying, you know what, everybody speaks Spanish, take it off, take the night off, we'll do some salsa music or something. They send me out there. I'm up on stage and I'm like, no one speaks English. And I'm just up there just talking. And finally I go, I've been surprised. Like no one speaks English. Because I went up to one guy and I said, excuse me, do you speak English? And he said, no. I'm like, oh my God, no kidding. That's all I said. No kidding. Some guy stands up and goes, I do not like what you say about Puerto Rico. And then takes a glass and smashes it on the floor. And then like 40 people walk out. I'm like, what did I say? So I come off stage. I mean, as a comedian, you are the loneliest person in the world. When you bomb, you're the loneliest person in the world. On the cruise ship, you're the loneliest person surrounded by people, and you can't go anywhere. This is horrible. I'm trying to get back to my room as fast as I can. As soon as I get back to my room, I'm like, I'm not leaving here for the next 4 days. My phone rings. It's the cruise director. She's like, what did you say about Puerto Rico? You offended Puerto Rico. I'm like, I did not offend Puerto Rico, and she's like, I go, look, well, check the tape. So I had to go up and watch the tape with her. And she's like, well, that was offensive. I go, that you don't, she goes, well, you offended whoever that person was who you said, do you speak English, and they said, no, you offended that person. I go, I made that person up. It's a bit. My God. So it's amazing I did it for 10 years.
I was, my wife came with me and we were down in Tahiti, and sometimes you got to take these little boats, these tenders.
That's horrible.
Yeah. You have to go from the shore to the boat. And so it was really rough. We were the last tender going back to the boat, and there was some people in wheelchairs. And so it was really rough. And so the guy running the boat said, hey, can you help me get the wheelchair people off? And I said, sure. So as the mates are holding the rope, I'm helping lift these old people up. There's also my wife, and a priest was also on the tender with us. We were talking to the priest. And then the guy that I was helping said, you go now. So I jumped off the tender, and then the rope snapped and the boat went away. And I was standing there, and I said to the guy, what's going to happen now? He's like, well, we're going to try one more time. If not, those people left on the tender are going to have to sleep over here. And I said, just so you know, I'm going to jump in to the water if that happens. Like, well, I can't be the guy that left his wife and a priest in a boat. That was too rough to get off.
Like a bad joke.
Yeah, I know. That's what
You
I
got
said.
a wife and a priest and a broken line.
Walk into a tender.
They made it back in. That was a happy wife when she got on the boat. Why the hell would you get off before me? Okay.
I told you.
She's still smiling at this point in the pandemic.
Yeah.
I did a cruise ship, Royal
Nobody
Caribbean
freezes,
once, and they have that private island in Haiti, Labadee. Have you guys been to Labadee?
Now it's called Great Day in Labadee, yeah.
It's called Great Day in Labadee? Yeah. Oh, Break Day in Labadee. So I go there. I had already worked. I was off, right? I'm done for the week. So I've got, 2 days till we get back to a port. And where did Kendra go? What happened?
Sorry, my stand, whatever. Sorry. Go ahead.
So anyway, so I'm all set. I decide I'm going to have a couple margaritas, and I'm going to drink smoke a Cuban cigar. So I get out on the beach, have a big lunch out there. The boat's leaving at 4:00. I go out, I have my 2 margaritas, I smoke a cigar. I hit the hay. I have, the Irish skin, so I'm underneath the umbrella. I hit the hay. I am cutting Z's. All of a sudden, I'm deep sleep. All of a sudden, I hear. I sit up. I take my stuff. I left half the stuff on the beach. I ran to the dock. The last tender was leaving. It was a security detail. They'd walked right over me because they didn't see me under the umbrella. And they had to turn around, and those guys are so ornery. They're not. They are an ornery
miserable bastards.
They were so pissed. I got back, and then I had to go see the first mate and all that stuff. It was like, I'm like, I almost fell asleep. And I said to the guys, I go to the cruise director, I go, what would I have done? He goes, you would have had to spend the night in Haiti, down there. I don't know where.
That's fun.
What a joy!
Oh my God!
But it's the remote part of Haiti. It's like the northeast area of Haiti. It's not even like Port-au-Prince, near the airport. Right. You would have been out there for days, man.
And they have a fence to keep
but the signal would look
Haiti.
better.
They do. They have a fence where kids try to get by to sell things, and there's a guard there with a stick. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's like going to Haiti without seeing anyone from Haiti.
Yeah,
right. Just a bunch of fat Americans on the other side of the fence, just eating, stuffing themselves, drinking.
On that cheerful, class-conscious note, as we wander all over, there's Al being released from captivity. Hey, thank you all for joining us. Kendra, great to see you. Best of luck, and check out the videos on our YouTube channel. El Ducharme will be watching for F is for Family. New trailer coming out soon?
Yes, it's out now. It was released today, so you can see it out there on Netflix.
And Jim Colleton, who is, I think, ready to come in with runners second and third with that closer stash.
Oh, would love to.
And Kevin Flynn still hold it down in the Nutmeg State. I'll be back there soon enough.
Okay,
thanks
everybody.
all.
And thanks for coming on, you guys. And thank you.
Thank you, you guys.
Every Thursday night, the best medicine.
Take
care, everybody.
6 feet.
Nantucket болницата